is a pretty solid team for what I've seen. So it's an exciting kind of matchup here today, where we get two of our more competitive teams. As I think we're getting some incline draft action.
Exactly that. Now, the first three bands do come in very much focused on some solid power picks on one side, the Rengar, the Darius, and the Graves take it away. As we're just steaming through here, Dean. We could probably talk a bit more about the picks as they come in, but these are fun so far.
Okay. So first off, Varus mid lane. That's
okay,
new and bold and different in a lot of different circumstances
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Yone. Again, so an important distinction as well, this is not draft order. So they had done a draft right before this, a pro draft, and whatever that draft order might have been is out there. This is just them picking for position specifically. So you could try to distill that if you want, but ultimately it doesn't really matter because we're seeing the ramifications of what that draft actually looks like. And you can see a couple of things on both sides here that are sticking out in a number of different circumstances where like on when you've got Yogatan on one side, who's probably the highest ELO player inside of this game, taking him off of any of the assassins, you want him off Rengar, you want him off Graves, you want him off Kindred, anything that does heavy damage, still fine with him with the Wukong, a little bit better for team fighting and such, not that same solo queue monster that you want, but you can see that was mostly the strategy coming out here. Not that same solo queue monster that you want, but you can see that was mostly the strategy coming out here from the opposition.
Yeah, exactly that, right? Because what you're not relying on is mainly your soul laners.
Exactly that, right?
Because what you're not relying on is mainly your soul laners. Just to be able to try to balance that in between. But within that, like you were mentioning, how the Varus pick was one of the final picks that there was for Payton Grizzlies, right? So that in general was kind of like picked with the intention to go up against the Yone, right? Considering they knew that how they had to kind of flex either against the Caitlyn as well, where the Soraka was the final pick for the SHS Eagles. The Yone in general, though, I find is definitely the biggest sort of not necessarily question mark, but the biggest factor in the game that I find has the ability to make things tumultuous. Aside from that, though, a lot of strong picks on both sides.
Absolutely. Seems like from both sides, we get a decent number. Like SHS Eagles, they seem to have gone to some preseason type comfort stuff where like the Xin Zhao picked, and I don't see a ton of it all the time in competitive right now. It's fallen relatively out of favor, not entirely out of favor, but relatively out of favor. But it seems like it's a favorite specifically for Falligence in the jungle position here, which is of interest because again, it's not a perfectly well-rounded champion. Not everybody's playing it. Also, the Nami got taken. I wonder if the Nami was early on, but there was no Lucian ban, so it's hard for me to tell that as well. Because usually, if you're on the side of the Payton Grizzlies, you think, okay, what are we going to do to actually put ourselves up against the opposition? Are we going to put are we going to put Lucian and Nami into the bottom lane? What's going to happen with that? It's kind of tough to say. It ends up being a situation where you get the Nami Ashe, even though Lucian wasn't taken away. So I don't know if it's a preference or a special thing that they've prepared. But we'll get a chance to see it in action. And contesting up against the Caitlyn, you got range. So that's a nice thing. Little volley action with that enhanced damage. Never hurt anybody.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, right? Considering the Ashe in general, I find has been rising priority pretty much all season. There haven't been a ton of changes to her either. And to be fair, if you are not experienced a ton with your bot lane partner and are not the most proficient Lucian Nami is very hard. So especially like your early levels, like you have to like carefully plan out, okay, you bubble here, land Q here, double shot, you gotta play super aggro. So in general, it's like maybe just dumping the Lucian Nami tag on everybody, Dean, isn't something that I'm okay with. But you go off king. You know better than I do, of course.
Maybe that's the circumstance. Again, it is a much more direct route. If you go comment on Ashe and you throw extra damage from the Nami, it's like, okay, Caitlyn gets to suffer, and you don't have to interact with Soraka. That's another really big thing that like will go unnoticed, which is that if you're lower range, then like you have to worry about Soraka hitting you with a Q. Then doesn't matter what poke damage you have, you just get healed back. But in this particular circumstance, you throw a volley out with an enhanced E from the Nami, you're doing like 150 damage plus your comment is almost certain to hit because of the volley slow. Maybe that's the thought process here. It's just it's a similar level of dominance. It's just from further away, not maybe all the all-in that you would have pre-level 6 to be able to operate on. Some of that mid-game power taken away as well. You're going to need like 2 items on Ashe, 3 items on Ashe before she really gets into a powerhouse situation. But ultimately, it's a setup, I think, more so for your top side of the map, where like they want Soup on the Varus to be going really well. They want their jungler to be set up really effectively. And if they get that going, that's where they're looking for. This is just supposed to be a bit of a stalling bot lane.
Right, exactly. Because we are most definitely going to be paying attention to how the jungler manages to do on both these sides, because that's definitely the biggest mark of, I find, dominance of both ends, especially with it being the Xin Zhao versus the Wukong in jungle. This was a matchup that we saw very, very often, right? If you look at about halfway through the year, especially when Wukong got those buffs, it was everywhere. So now, and you did mention that Wukong can't necessarily take over the game, right? But there is definitely a small buffer where the Wukong can definitely start for the team, unless, now hear me out, Dean. What if you went Eclipse Wukong?
Eclipse Wukong. Okay. So I hear your Eclipse Wukong, right? And is it a good idea? I think it's fine. Like, you get penetration, you become an assassin a little bit. You're able to assassinate the backline. I don't think it's an unreasonable thing. I'm going to one-up your ante here. The Payton Grizzlies have Ashe, Aatrox, Wukong, and your only source of magic damage is Nami, unless AP Varus mid lane.
Hey, now you're thinking.
Now we're thinking, yeah.
Because you can build mana immune in both instances.
Yes.
And you can go Ludens.
Sure can. You get some insane penetration. You get some sane... The biggest thing is the execute. It's literally just like you pop your W, you hit a Q, and if Soraka gets hit, she's dead. Or she's very nearly dead. Same with Caitlyn, where it's like Caitlyn, unless there's a Soraka pocketing her, probably just dies on the spot. There's not much that you can do about it. Now, ultimately, I think that there's still threat for the mid lane here, where like you have Akali. I think it's a Akali Go Skirt is the mid laner's name, which is a great name, by the way. Akali Go Skirt is just like a typical assassin player, has a bunch of assassins in the repertoire, and so throwing them on the Yone to challenge a relatively immobile member in Varus could be punishing. Although back in the day when Varus was a more consistent mid laner, there was this whole rack of like Varus was decent into assassins because he had high enough base stats that he could bully them in the earlier portion of the game, kind of take over the laning phase before it got a chance to get off the ground for the assassin. So it's a bit more of a skill check, I think, towards Akali Go Skirt and what they're capable of doing on the Yone. And both top laners, we haven't even talked about your lane, man. We have the Aatrox Mordekaiser matchup up in the top lane that we have yet to touch on.
Yeah, this is a matchup that is very commonly taken into Aatrox because you assume that you know Mordekaiser can naturally outscale and trade into the Aatrox, right? Now, albeit that is true, because past the range of the initial Q, right? Mordekaiser can also easily just counter that by pulling Aatrox in closer, and then you EQ auto, and then suddenly every trade you want to win is then won. Because Aatrox in general is quite slow. Right, so then you're looking at, possibly playing off your lifesteal, right? Because your Q cools out early on before it's like leveled up to the first 3 points is like 10 seconds almost. So it's gonna take a long time before you can be a threat in the lane. And Aatrox, we know from watching Kingen, can definitely be a monster, but I'm not sure if Kingen is playing today. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, it's a matter of Search and Destroy, I think, is the top laner here for Payton Grizzlies, who's got the Aatrox. Plays a bunch of the Darius type champions, so he knows how to lane bully, right? And then Aatrox is a lane bully. It does some really cool lane bully things. Against the Mordekaiser, I am curious. You don't always want to take super hard extended trades. I think you might have mentioned that, but you definitely know that. I know you would aggress with that, where it's like you don't want to mess with the Mordekaiser, especially once he's on like first item. You start getting some of the damage up and running, and Mordekaiser's a bit of a menace. So I know there was a meme a while back about the Comet Aatrox. I don't know that it comes out in this game, but the idea of it I think fits very well in this one. Where again, he's a lane bully. He's going to be taking much more zoning approach to the laning phase. He's going to try to make sure the Mordekaiser never really does all that well. If you leave the lane alone, I have a lot of faith that Search and Destroy is going to be able to help take things over, barring any sort of really bad trades that go poorly in the beginning of the game. And if you start putting pressure, that opens up the rest of your map again. That's where the Varus gets some free space. You get this Wukong activated. That's kind of what they want anyway. Exactly,
because now with the Mordekaiser, right, his items in general to be effective are really expensive. expensive, right? Because if you're looking at Riftmaker, you're looking at Jack Show. That's really where he can like do a lot more damage. You're not looking to build Jack Show first. If you are me, you are, but you definitely want to be able to get some AP on the Mord, right? And that's gonna take some time, right? You're looking at almost 6 to 7k gold before Mord's really a threat, is able to isolate your 1v1s in general. But that'll transgress as we look at Aatrox in general too, who can't necessarily display his dominance due to all the new tank items. So hear me out, team. Hear me out.
It'll be fun. Okay, I'm hearing you out.
Heartsteel.
Heartsteel?
Aatrox.
Okay. Heartsteel is a cool item. My problem with Heartsteel is you never use it enough to make it actually do what you want it to do. Which is like, when you see a Heartsteel and it's got like 1,000 health on it and you've done like 30, like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 damage, that's like the ideal Heartsteel, right? And the thing is like, even if you only get a couple hundred health is a massive amount of free stats that you just get from the item for nothing.
True.
But you don't always trade that heavily with it. So Aatrox with it, don't necessarily disagree. I just don't think it's going to fit into this game. I think junglers would be better with it because you can attack all the time. But we're in a game, so maybe we'll get some shenanigans here.
All right. Well, let's find out what kind of shenan we shall see again. As we are, of course, in the Youth Winner's Circle. Did that one get you, Dean? Yeah.
I'm going to vomit. Oh! All right. We have okay. I'm not going to be super vicious about this. I'm not going to be super vicious about this. But we do have a bit of a diffy in the jiffy already. Because it is green jungle item versus red jungle item. I don't know if you know the difference. Green jungle item.
I know the green jungle item does give you more healing.
Green jungle item gives you shield. It basically gives you Mountain Soul. And the red jungle item gives you some damage. So if you had to choose between some damage or Mountain Soul, which do you think is better?
Well, when you present it like that.
Now, it is intentional. My verbiage is intentional here, Ravish. It's just because the green jungle item is most of the time much better. So unless Falligence intends to get super aggressive, and I do mean super aggressive, imagine using, it's like taking Ignite in the mid lane or in a solo lane, right? Like the intention is not that you use it just because like it's a laning option, right? You don't just take it to push someone back for a back. You use it for kill threat. It's the same with this red item, where it's like you have to use it for kill threat. You have to use it in specific circumstances. And other than those niche cases, it's just not going to work. And I do not think this is one of those. So I am curious to see what Falligence's kind of identity is in this game, if you want to use that red smite as aggressively as necessary to make it work. And we had already talked about Yokotan, or Yodokan, is probably the highest ELO player in this, somebody we have high expectations for. Very, very likely that that's going to go unpunished, at least in this first game.
Because we were saying how it's we expect a lot out of this jungle in general. The bot lane we expect to be pretty trade heavy, decently even. As maybe that could be the lane that surprises us the most, Dean. Maybe we just see complete dominance for one side.
That's true.
Or maybe not. Maybe they'll just chill for a while. But it's Caitlyn, so you're hoping she gets some early support, if anything, especially in lanes like these, where for now I would say, if you're looking at, if you are Falligence, and you're thinking which lane you can give the most attention to, in my opinion, I think you give the most attention to the Yone lane. Because as soon as Yone gets their own, then suddenly the map just gets a lot more volatile.
Yes. I do think it's a difficult lane to try to gank at the beginning, and later on in the game, it's still not easy just because the Varus' ultimate is very low cooldown.
Sure.
I will say I'm a little upset that Soup decided to go for Teleport instead of Ghost. Ghost is just a busted summoner spell for one thing, but also having Ghost means that you have two basic escapes to be able to avoid any sort of aggression. That's Falligence. He's going down.
Yeah. And okay, Akali goes skirt. Akali goes skirt. I can unfortunately not look to move in.
No, he cannot.
But it's fine as he just gets the reign supreme, as he has priority over the top side as well. So Yoko can go where he pleases.
See, I've done this now too. It is Yodokan, not Yokotan, which is, it's just backwards. It sounds backwards. Like phonetically, you just can't make yourself say that, right? Like, I've done it too. I don't like it either, but unfortunately we're going to have to stomach it because it appears as though Yodokan knows what's happening. Oh, top lane. Just a gank immediately is what it looked like right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the flash also used by toxic babes as well.
Yep.
So it's that'll
Banger names.
lead to absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, that'll lead to a unfortunate TP having to be used, the wave being shoved in as well, likely against him. And from here, Sneak should get a free backup for this.
Yeah, it's a situation where Toxic Babes is still on the top side of the map, has not dropped any. Flash is still available for both the jungler and the top laner. Toxic Babes has to respect this. Like, if you do not and you step too far forward, you're going to get punished by what is happening inside the jungle. And you can see, Yutacon is here. If you spend too many cooldowns, if you end up in a bad situation, you're just going to get run at by this Wukong. Thankfully, the shield is available, but it should be a full reset now coming through from the Aatrox on this massive wave stack. Which is easy enough. Toxic Babes really can do nothing about this. You either jump past the wave and lose a couple of minions just so you can deny some backs, which are going to happen anyway, or you just let it happen. And like you said, now it's a situation where you get serrated Dirk, you're going to step into Eclipse, now there's a Sheen done for the Wukong. Like, you have so many options that just got picked up from that top side dominance that was expressed by this jungler here for Payton.
And we were expecting this, right? We were Yotacon to be very active in the early game. We're expecting him to pay attention to, especially with a lot more soul lanes in general. And although the Varus lane, it's decently hard to gank, hasn't got much love considering you're not level 6. But Aatrox being strong early on is really hard for Mordekaiser. Speaking as a Mordekaiser's been in this situation, Mordekaiser early sucks, right? He is no bueno if you cannot proc your passive often enough. So you're just kind of stuck in a situation where he hits 6 before him. He doesn't kill him though.
That is a bit shocking. It's Sneak and Destroy. He just walks away. Actually, he turned back in.
This is bold, but he's winning.
He was winning, although he ran out of cooldowns. He had no W, he had no E, he had no more Qs after that last one hit. Problem was Toxic Babes had popped the W, I think, earlier, so it was also out of cooldowns except for Qs. And if you get into that auto-attacking battle against somebody with Serrated Dirk, you are asking for trouble. So I like that they just kind of handshook and walked away from one another, because it could have turned out rather bad. I'm really confused how he hit 6 first, but you know what? It probably was shared experience with Yotacon, because Yotacon was up there in the top side pretty heavily. Is that a fight you want, Phalogens?
I mean, now it is, right? The Kaligos is here. She's likely just waiting for the ult. Nice bubble on 1, following up, still going super deep. Yotacon, Blast Cone used. Goes over the wall, and now even Cowboy Man has to run away, but Habenami has to give her life for this.
Okay.
Re-engage, question mark?
Okay, we might see it.
Come back in, the flash. Cowboy Man gets caught. He's silenced. Yotacon is... Yeah, he's fine.
No. Okay. Dodges. And now Soup's here.
They get the slow here as well from this, so should be looking to go back in. And yeah, they catch 2 big ults from Soup.
Way too quick for Soup to be able to punish that one. And would you look at that? It is going to be the AP Varus, so he's got that execute damage coming in readily available for the team, and a nice sweep up right there as Yotacon found themselves in a really rough situation, was waiting for the W to come out, and must have used it ahead of that fight, but ends up just leading to the 1 kill for 2 in exchange, going over to the mid laner for the side of the Payton Grizzlies. A really, really solid trade, a nice roam coming up from the mid laner. And they're trying to express some bit of power on the bot lane. You can see Pickle Pal's been playing really well, has the kill, has the 20 CS lead right now. And attempting to play into the Caitlyn, I think, is now going to be the best option that they've got on the map, given everything that's else that's gone down. But the defense was nice on that play to give some more breathing room over to Cowboy Man and Sting.
Because Cowboy Man is right now as well. You saw he got, unfortunately, caught a little bit early on, but nonetheless, all the grass says, for now though, Dean, things just slow down for a couple of seconds. Dean, I must say, that's a solo kill onto the Varus.
Sure is. No ultimate either, so yeah. All right.
I was gonna say, this is just a complete side note, by the way.
Sure.
I do my walks at night, now that I have no beard. My face gets unbearably cold, and I don't understand how people do it.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like the last time I shaved it completely off my beard was like 2 years ago, and I remember just looking like a different human being. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'll never do this again.
It was satisfying to just take it all off in one swipe.
To get all the hair off? Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
Yeah, you get like a razor and you just take it right through the hair, and then it just all comes off in one fell swoop. It is satisfying.
Beautiful, yeah. Speaking of satisfying, Toxic Bays might be the next to fall here, unfortunately, again. As down just a little bit of farm. The Wukong being there, but hey, Valorich is matching him.
Level 6 is here for the Wukong, which does make for some benefit here. Toxic Bays have to be careful just because... Oh. Okay, so Yotacon now knows, I think that Falagence knows that he's here. Didn't see him escape ever, which is of interest, and is just going to gank the lane anyway, which is the wrong move, because he knows Yotacon has to be here. He never saw him leave, so...
Yeah, he should, and now he's definitely aware of this. He's fighting inside of the wave. Falagence should go 1v2'd. The ult does now come in, but he gets taken away. He still dies! But inside of the Mortals trying to survive. One more sneak and destroy. The double knockup passive is still running strong. His shield is not up.
I can appreciate the attempted gank right here coming out from Falagence, but again, just I think it's a bit of object permanence right there that's being dissuaded on, just because you know that Yotacon's there. You never saw him pass over top the control ward, so you know he's on the top side of the map. Okay, bottom lane, bit of something. Ultimate, gonna get blocked. Nice play from Cowboy Man just to make sure. But yeah, ultimately, the top side play is really, really coming in clutch right here for the side of Payton, just loading up this Aatrox and Wukong with a ton of gold. And especially, Sneak and Destroy is now just going to be an absolute beast inside of this game.
Yeah, a 3-0 Aatrox is something you don't want. But at least Caitlyn should be able to cut away from this. But instead, some attachment paid towards the bot lane. Nice bubble. Staying in range to stay alive and saved his own as ADC's life.
Yeah, very, very well played. And again, as expected, Payton Grizzlies, their bot lane is kind of taking a bit of the backseat inside of this game. You're down a fair amount of CS. You're expecting them to put a bunch of pressure on. Soup's got 2 kills, has gone down a couple of times, but Sneak and Destroy has got a bunch of resource. Yotacon is doing great inside of this game, and this is where they really anticipate the pressure kind of being laid on at. Kaligo Skirt being fed is a problem for both Soup and for Cowboy Men, but I really do think that the Aatrox is going to be a difficult problem that they do not have a solution for at this point when it comes to fighting when Sneak and Destroy gets out and about on the map. So it would not shock me to see Yotacon continue to come up here because Pickle Pal, while strong, is not just like disgustingly strong. The Gale Force is finished, but you're still in this bit of a power trough that the Caitlyn's going to have for the first item of the game. And until you're through 2-3 items, the Aatrox is still going to be a threat.
Speaking of making more of a threat, they're just landing the wind, but no lightning to come out from Fragilence. No knock-up here either, so all that dissuaded. But Dean, what you said made me think about something. You said how both the Aatrox and both the Yone are a problem, right? But let's say they both went to the same school. Who gets sent to the principal office more?
Between Yone and Aatrox?
Yeah.
See, that's a tough one. I feel like Aatrox is in trouble more. But does it make sense for me to say that I think Yone would get sent to the principal's office more?
I can see that. That's fair.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was like Aatrox is like the kid that does so much bad that like at this point they've kind of just given up on him, unfortunately. And then like Yone is like he's like a troublemaker. He's like a class clown type where it's like you send him to the office hoping that he can recover, but Aatrox is just a lost kid. So that's how I see it. Sorry, perhaps too descriptive, but I hope I answered your question.
No, it's fair. Aatrox is a lost cause, but Yone still has some hope. Yeah, that's fair. As the arrow will go wide, just a tad, and will not land on anybody. But mid lane being covered and both neutrals traded from both sides. The first dragon of the day, of course, be taken by the SHS Eagles. Beautiful bubble once again, but the trading not going in their favor.
Not at all. Here, a couple of things kind of going down. I'll take a discussion of the mid lane, because so far, Soup started off with 2 kills on that roam to the bottom side, and since has been bullied into 3 deaths against the Kali Ghost Skirt on this Yone. We were talking about how, again, Varus is a mobile, and this is an assassin, and while you do have good base stats and the ability to kind of trade back in the right circumstance, you have to play it very perfectly. And since Soup didn't have Flash for a while there, Kali Ghost Skirt just jumped on every single time he had the opportunity to turn it into 3 kills and a massive advantage. And now top lane, getting rest against again. If you can break this, free up the Aatrox, it's going to be really huge for the rest of your map.
Yeah, that was 2 play charge. The wave is not coming in, so Toxic Big should know that he has to back out.
No.
They're likely aware lane is missing, so choose to back off. Ego Skirt's look quite strong, so they'll give away some of their advantage. Instead, wait in the bush, but just take away more of Pouch's jungle.
See, what I would have thought was going to happen right there is I thought that they were going to attempt to spook Toxic Babes into taking one of them into the Death Realm prior to tower aggro coming through. And if they had done so, they could have just taken the tower at the other person. And I think that would have been hilarious. Like, Yodokan walks into the tower, walks at him menacingly, he presses ultimate. Yodokan doesn't have tower aggro. All he has to do is survive in the ultimate for 5 seconds or something. And then Sneak and Destroy just gets a tower and they kill him afterwards. Anyway, bottom lane, that was another kill going over. The Caitlyn able to make something happen. I feel like Sting has gotten bullied by Thor of Atlantis the majority of this laning phase, so it's not shocking. And again to the mid lane. Goodness gracious.
But it's this might be to take it out. Ultimate. Chubby one gets the kill, but there's a trade from Thousands as well. A bit tumultuous, but Aatrox ult should be able to clutch it, and that is it. So dominance in a couple more lanes, but top tower is solo gold to Sneak and Destroy.
Yes, first tower of the game, Solo's gold for Sneak and Destroy. Also has that kill under the belt, so now 4 in tow for this Aatrox. Again, you're summing everything up together. So far, mid lane has gone much better for Yone. You have some responses from Yodokan. Bot lane has gone very heavily into the favor now of Pickle Pal and Thor of Atlantis, where they've got a pretty big advantage to work with. But the thing is, when it comes to total gold, there is still this 2k advantage, and a lot of that has come from all of this additional topside pressure that's come from Yodokan investing into the Aatrox dollars, which is the one cryptocurrency not affected by the market, apparently, because it's worked super, super well in this game. And now, again, how do you kill Aatrox? Who's killing Aatrox in this game right now? There's no good. Gale Force Caitlyn does not do enough damage to kill Aatrox. The best chance you've got is probably Yone, but even that, I think at this point, just doesn't quite have the damage to get through all the Aatrox brings to the table.
A crypto joke? Really?
A crypto joke? You're upset about Aatrox dollars?
No,
Aatrox
I'm just like,
coin?
it's like, we can do better here, dude, you know?
Can we?
Yes.
Okay, do better.
But, well, hold on.
Make a joke. Make a joke. Make any joke.
Hey, be funny real quick right now. Well, this is unfunny though. I would say. Ooh, the follow-up alongside the beautiful setup at a shutdown lane, and they gotta give up this dragon.
Soup is starting to hit, man. It's getting into the winter months. It's getting into the cold months, man. The Soup just hits different in this type of season, and you can see all it takes is the one AP item, man. All it takes is the one AP item. You can see he chunked 2 different members down basically half of their health bar. It doesn't even have penetration. Doesn't have the Ludens yet. Doesn't have the Mono Unit yet, which it doesn't look like they're going to build anyway. But Soup, that's the fear you've got. Aatrox can run amok inside of this backline. All it takes is 1 person, 2 person getting hit with that arrow. It can really cause some devastating damage. And Kaligo Skirt is the one person who can kind of make sure that Soup does not get everywhere. It's the Naked, if you will.
Absolutely crazy that how that all went down. It's flabbergasted. And,
you still reeling at the. Is the crypto joke or the Soup joke? Which one?
The crypto joke was at least a little bit creative. The Soup joke is just.
What's wrong with the Soup joke? The homie Soup is popping people for 11 bajillion damage, and you're not gonna hype him up?
No, bro. Soup's doing his thing, but that don't. It's fine. I'll leave it alone. As what matters right now is that Fowler is getting bullied out of his own jungle. Cyclone is available, gets a triple knockup, but towards the backline goes a Kali. And now comes in Soup. Let's see him take a bite out of everybody else here. But Soup is a liquid, and he still manages to make mush out of 2.
What an insane fight! You're just making hungry jokes, man. Like you didn't even reference that he was Soup during the course of that. All right,
I said Soup is a liquid.
All right, you forced Soup as a liquid in the last possible second. It's a dominating fight. There's 4 members here. There's no TP from Sneak and Destroy, so he can't join. And you can see Mordekaiser was there. So it was a 4v5, anticipated loss. Ends up being just the dragon going over to the side of the SHS Eagles, who've done great. Yone, amazing in these fights. But Soup, getting there, right? You can see the damage is starting to stack up. And again, Aatrox is the real fear in a game like this. Like, when Aatrox starts entering fights, it's going to be a problem and a massive one for SHS. So take your victories while you can. The Yone is feeling great. Again, when you dive onto the backline, you can see the type of damage you're able to put out. You're able to kill just about anybody that you want. But there are 2-3 members that are putting legitimate threat into this team that do need to be handled at some point.
Right, because we have already mentioned them before. Right, there's a call who's playing Yone. I'll hold my thoughts. Is Thoroff is okay. He's fine. Everybody gets out, and no one takes anybody's jungle. Never mind. Yoda will continue to take fire to this jungle.
I think he's just playing with his food a little bit here, because if they can keep resetting its aggro by pulling it outside the circle, it's just a menacing little bit. Yeah, they're able to pull it away. Okay, well played right there. The combination of the Caitlyn with Falagence able to get away. I feel like they should have given it to Caitlyn right there, but they just decide against it. So just afraid, I guess, of them getting a chance to come in and take it. Yoda getting that one is... He sits ready to scrap at any point.
Mm-hmm. We continue to build up this tension as both these teams. Continuing to build tension between one another.
Why did we pop Soraka Ultimate? Soraka Ultimate just got popped. Why?
Oh, you're right. I don't know, maybe he was scared.
Maybe.
He wanted to top himself off.
I'm not sure that... it looked maybe like Yoda was kind of poking towards. It's possible he had found Pickle Pal at one point, and they just popped it just to make sure that it was like, okay, we're going to make sure Pickle Pal doesn't fall to some kind of shenanigans. And if that's the case, you lose Pickle Pal, then basically you have one threat in the fight, and that one threat is a Kali Go-Burr, and a Kali Go-Burr is not going to live through the onslaught that is the Aatrox, the Wukong, and the Varus all at once. So that, I think, was the situation. So I was confused, but if that was the reason, I'll give him a pass on that. That's perfectly fine. You have to make sure that you have a second threat in these fights.
Yeah, you have to ensure that everybody you want to stay alive stays alive. That's just summarize what Dean was saying. Like, as a healer, you want to make sure the people around you don't die, and you have to use your abilities to make sure that happens. Did I summarize that well, Dean?
I think what I was trying to say is that Caitlyn needs to stay alive, because otherwise Yone can't win a fight on his own yet. That's what I was trying to say, more than healer needs to keep people alive. But that is how that happens, but I do appreciate that, so, okay.
Oh, the ult doesn't go over the wall, but a Kali Go-Burr to the live, double knock-up to follow up, and now as the fight continues to fall, there's a solo kill, and now comes a Cowboy Man to become a part of all this. Like you were saying, once Aatrox is part of the fight, there's not much more that's gonna happen.
3 kills over to the Aatrox. That is disgusting what he was able to accomplish, to be able to pull. All 5 of them die in the grand scheme, because I think bottom lane, Toxic Babes ended up going down to Soup, who through the Chains of Corruption just one-shot him inside that laning phase. No magic resist on the Mordekaiser. And that wins them the Drake. That wins them the Baron. That wins them kind of everything that they could possibly want on the map right now, is they're just going to walk away. All of their prizes in hand. I think that Sneak and Destroy probably should back here, because what I want to see right now is them run right back out to Dragon, take second Dragon. I'm too afraid that they aren't going to be able to close the game unless they get a fight, which could happen. There's nothing wrong with that. But in case you don't, you just want a Dragon stack. So it's hedging your bets a little bit.
Exactly. Ensuring that you have the highest possible way to make sure that you don't go bankrupt. All right? It's a diversifying your portfolio.
With crypto.
Not without
We've come full circle. The joke is still valid.
Yes. Call me, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it's done.
Yes.
Anyways, Aatrox is so unafraid that he could just walk up to 3 people and it doesn't matter, especially with the Baron buff that he has.
He's got Eclipse. He has a full stacked Ravenous Hydra right now. And actually, he just bought a full Maw Bound Warriors. I am curious who that Maw is for. Who does magic damage on this team, Ravish? It's unnecessary. I feel like Death's Dance would have been a better buy, because not only is it armor, it's also a lot more healing, a lot more lifesteal, and maybe that one option would have been better.
Of course. What do you?
The Mordekaiser that got soloed by a Varus seconds ago. That's the one that you're terrified of. It's just, again, it probably doesn't make too much of a difference. The Aatrox is an absolute monster one way or another. Sometimes these decisions do make a bit of a difference. So when you've got a Caitlyn that's slowly getting stronger inside of this game, and more importantly, a near 3-item Yone, you do have to be cautious at least a little bit about some of the itemization decisions.
Also true, right? You want to optimize for the best build, quote unquote, but it's all Gucci. As currently, he's still strong enough that don't honestly matter. There's a 1-3-1 splits across the lanes right now, using the Baron buff to their extremities. Trying to get as many towers as possible. The Varus being matched by the Yone towards the mid, towards the bot side, I should say. But taking a fair bit of damage, the trades continue, but the Yone is actually looking to lose that as well. He gets solo killed by the end. All right, Soup. Somebody wants a bit more than Liquids, it seems, and the rest of the team also falls. Okay.
All right. Well,
this might be the end of the game.
I believe it is, because they played 1-3-1 and they won all 3 lanes. So that is not an ideal circumstance here from the side of SHS as they continue to get pushed in on. The Varus has slowly become a one-shot machine inside of the side lanes. Currently has a massive wave that's encroaching upon the Nexus Tower. And it's funny because Toxic Babes was trying to get back to him, and then Sneak and Destroy is just like, no, you're just going to walk back to your tower. Like, what are you supposed to do? Flashes and ults on top of the Ashe. Probably gets this kill. Maybe gets this kill. Oh. Okay. All right, there it is.
There we go. Shut down for Toxic Babes. But meanwhile, they're destroying the turrets. They triple inhibit them. Well, double inhibit at least. Should be able to get the triple. As soon as the third one goes down, the shutdown to one more. But as they all come alive one after the other, I do not think they can end the game just yet, but getting isn't too bad of a deal.
No, it's not. You got 3 inhibitors out. Okay. Yodakan kind of poking forward, saying, okay, I can poke away, but it's not going to be too much. 3 downed inhibitors is sufficient for them to keep this team in the base. So, worst case scenario, you're up 12,000 gold, 12,500 gold. You're in a position where you can get to the next Baron really easily when that comes up in just a few minutes' time here. You don't even have to worry about Dragon stacking. The next Baron is certainly a death sentence. You either have to fight this team, or they will just walk in, get it, and then you'll be facing 3 full minion waves with siege minions, 2 per wave with Baron. You're not holding that. It's never going to happen. So, in the meantime, I mean, I guess we're just waiting for things to kind of progress. We're checking on itemization right now. I'm waiting for the Rabadons to come through for the Varus. If you think he was doing damage before, now he's got penetration boots and the Rabadons. He's going to be sitting on like 500 AP. Ravish, you ever been hit by with a Varus with 500 AP?
I tuned out everything after you said Ravish. I'll be honest.
I said, Ravish, have you ever been hit by a Varus with 500 AP?
See, again, you're just not catching my attention. I hear my name, and I'm like, that's nothing else pertains to me. It's
See, it's really weird that you say that, because when I say your name, I'm trying to get your attention. So why is it that you zone out when I ask for your attention? The beard, dude. The beard must have changed your hearing.
The beard has changed me. Yeah, exactly.
That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it, dude.
I'm living in opposite days, pretty much.
I guess so.
By the way,
I guess so.
To answer your question, no, I've never been hit by a 500 AP Varus. Have you?
Well, you're about to see it. No, I have not. But we're gonna see what it looks like, because all it takes is Soup kind of coming in clutch here.
He's moving right now. Here comes Soup and Sneak and Destroy. We can call that Soup and Destroy, especially if you can't handle liquids. Anyways, though, as we move in one after the next, they're just so strong they want half their stats, and that is the end of the game.
Goodbye. All right. Well, I guess you could say they got canned at the end of this game. It was really, really easy. Topside focus coming out here from the side of the Payton Grizzlies. Jungle dominance coming out to help control both the top and the mid lane. I thought it was really good. Bot lane did not nearly snowball as well as they wanted. A nice disappointed Ravish as I come back, because the Soup jokes continue to pile on. So.
Well, then, everybody loves Soup and everybody loves cans, but nobody loved canned Soup. With that being said, we can see if we can unleash the can, add some more salt, and create more of a flavor profile going into the next game. We'll be back after this short break with game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back. Apologies for the wait, but now as you look towards the next game in our best of 3 between these two teams, Dean, we have more League of Legends to foresee, if you please.
Foresee? Foresaw, foresown, whatever it might be. Yeah,
Foreset.
For not. I don't know.
Fortnite.
There we go. we got there finally. It took long enough. Yeah, I'm excited. I thought game 1 was really awesome. Okay, I don't know if they're out of order or if they're swapping top and support, but this is a different lineup. Toxic Babes was actually the top laner in the last game, and Mordekaiser, that is Thor of Atlantis, was the support. Yeah. So they might actually be swapping here, which is of interest. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's considering they just managed to trade the overall matchups and instead decide to, go for much more fun picks. I like that Akali Gusker is, obviously on the main, right? The Kaisa Nautilus is something that I haven't seen in a long time. I will say, though, this is a great game for Silas. And just the fact that Graves is also picked up as well, I'm expecting, of course, naturally just Eclipse Graves, right? And Graves is also a jungler that can solo carry, right? Something that, that you saw Wukong couldn't do. Graves also banned last game as well. So we'll see how it does go down. The Nasus pick is the only pick that I have big question marks on, because that means we're in for 30-minute game.
Infinite scaling. Although in the previous game, you did see the dominance of the Aatrox, so maybe it is another game where Sneak and Destroy can do some pretty crazy things. I think the Graves also is a bit more of a farming pick, a little bit easier of a pick for Yotacon to carry on eventually. So again, perhaps it is just a bit of a slower paced game here for the side of not SAH for the other team. My apologies. It's not coming to me their name right now. Payton. Payton is in for a little bit of a slower pacing of the game. Although Silas typically likes to fight early, so maybe we'll get some fun skirmishes in the beginning of the game. Ravish, you start yelling at the game more.
Yay! I mean, I guess you got to do your job less, so I guess that's fine for you, isn't it, Dean? So you get to just sit back, enjoy, and listen to the soothing sounds of my voice as I get to break down the game. Thank you. You know what? I think I'll take a much more lax approach to this team fight. So I'll be like, Aatrox, manages to get 3 people where we want Nasus. Oh, there's the ultimate, and that's another bonk to be entrusted upon the people.
Yeah, normally we get like a it's like a heavy metal, or it's like a rap or something like that when it comes to like team fights where it's like you're going crazy or super energy or it's super fast. We can just do like a spoken word jazz type beat where it's like solid move by the Silas gets him into the back line. What a move by Soup.
As he comes in and swoops 2. Whoop de doo.
Soups. Whoop de soup.
Scoop de whoop.
Scoop de soup. It's pretty good.
Scoop de whoop de soup.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's it. I agree. But that would be extremely hype.
Yeah.
I will say though, for now, I think we should hedge our bets, as we don't know how many the scoop will dupe. So let's find out as we continue with our Froop. I couldn't think of another word.
That's perfectly fine. You could have said loop, and you could have just like gone back to the beginning of the broadcast and started right back over. So
we're
perfectly fine.
How many we can coop together?
Yeah,
because like a chicken coop.
Yeah,
or like a coup, but like a coup d'etat. So because we're taking over. That's a League of Legends song.
There you go. It's all come full circle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
That's the thing.
That is the biggest move. SHS, I am interested to see. I thought Thor of Atlantis played really well last game. The Soraka was bullying the bottom lane. So now in the top lane, you have literally the same champion with the Mordekaiser. And it's okay, what is it going to be kind of the difference in this one? Toxic Babes gets a chance to play down in the bottom lane and play a little bit more of a style that they're kind of accustomed to as opposed to anything else. So maybe that's the play. Because like Toxic Babes, as far as I can tell, plays Soraka, plays Amumu, is like an off-role support. So like I said, maybe it's just in this game, they think Thor of Atlantis is going to be more valuable on the top side of the map, something like that. So they also have a much more well-rounded composition, I think, grand scheme of things. So they've got the Kais on the bottom side. They don't have to worry about all too much. So I think they're in a really good place.
Yeah, exactly. I think considering the aggression on one end and the scaling options on both sides, right? I think we're in for a fun time, all in all. I would say I am going to be thinking a lot about what the Graves is going to do. That was the biggest factor, right, to make a difference in the previous game. Of course, top and mid lane on opposite ends were definitely much more question marks, but it's going to take a bit. It's going to be a bit before the Silas effectively can do a ton, and of course the Kali on both sides. Well, and also it's Nasus and Mordekaiser. So I think we're going to chill for a bit, Dean, but that's just me as we head into game in a couple of seconds.
You will. Excited to see what we're gonna have in store for this one. Hopefully, Akali goes skirt gets a chance to skirt on the competition yet again, because last game had taken over on the Yone quite a bit, and was really big. Just wasn't able to kind of put the pieces together before the game had fallen apart. So in this one, now on the namesake, you got the Akali. Which is an exciting little addition to the rest of the team. They are relatively low range, which is my only complaint about this squad. But again, yeah, you got Kaz and Nautilus as a good combo. You got a lot of dive potentially to work with. It's a pretty well fleshed out composition. I do worry about Sting too, because Sting was bullied a bit on the Nami. Maybe with the Pike is going to be a lot more active with Yoda-Con. Also, the double ghost. Can I just say, busted summoner setup here coming out from the side of the Payton Grizzlies.
I mean, naturally, you know, you looking on their side, right? That the ghost is a must, right? As it's situated red side. You okay there, brother? You need a you.
Dude, I'm big chilling, bro. Big chilling.
What's funny was I saw the video after the audio blew up on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
It's a John Cena's like a social team like made a post of him just buying ice cream and looking at the camera. It was so great. I know how to say just the beginning of that. I believe so. How you say it is 早上好上我现在我冰淇淋.
Good times. Thank you. The weeb inside of you does come in handy every once in a while on broadcast.
Weeb? This is Mandarin.
Yeah, close enough.
I also learned Japanese for my own selfish reasons.
That's what I see. I thought you were speaking Japanese because I knew you could speak Japanese. I didn't know you could speak Mandarin.
I can't. I can.
This
say
was
that
ignorance.
And to be fair, I can. Oh, hold on. Hooked on bot lane, rooted, stingray, exhausted, and flash.
Okay. Q also going to go wide. So it's another lane of terror coming out from Sting, just because last game was kind of dominated in the bottom lane matchup. It seems like Toxic Babes much better position to play aggressively, play on the front foot. Nice hook again.
Nice hook. Wow. I mean, but no stun up. Sting's to level 1, so can't really capitalize off of that. But there's a skirmish going down mid lane. Yo can't do nothing.
No. And you know what's crazy? Yodo hasn't taken a camp. Yodo has three camps, has farmed 3 camps, but has not taken a single one of his. All of the camps that have been taken by Yodo have been the bottom side for Phalogens. This is after the jungle changes where it made it harder to go counter jungling, right? Like this is more difficult. This is a much harder thing to do. And yet here's Phalogens, Yodo, my apologies, just robbing Phalogens of an absurd amount of gold, experience, stacks on the jungle item and the jungle pet. That's not good. Okay.
You know, it's like in a documentary where I can't remember the name, but like Christopher Walken or something says life finds a way, and exactly what happens here. Who's the narrator of that Earth documentary? Doesn't matter anymore. Hook goes down, both sides stun in, and Cowboy Man will not get the first.
I have no idea what movie you're talking about. I cannot think of it from a live movie right now.
The documentary.
What?
He also did the March of the Penguins.
March of the Penguins. That's what it is. I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
What's his name? Cool. Oh my god.
Who? The like speakers that did those things?
Yeah, the narrator.
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to commentary.
I'm gonna
wink.
Based and true.
All right. Why don't you take a second and Google it? I want to talk about the game.
I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now.
Cool.
David Attenborough. That's the David Attenborough.
David Attenborough. Okay, so there you go. David Attenborough can talk about it a little bit later on. We'll get him on broadcast real quick. I'm sure that'll go well. Bottom lane was a big win. They got the kill for Pyke. It was a surprising salvage of the bottom lane, which was going really badly up until that point. It was domination from Toxic Babes, but helps secure things a little bit better. The double longsword should be useful. Seems like the Silas is doing fine in the mid lane, and Yodo-Con still taking massive advantage. Still has this huge advantage. It's still 3 camps readily available for the Graves to take to farm up that jungle item. before the back even needs to be grabbed up. And in fact, Yodo understands everything to do. Currently has double the number of camps as Falligence, and also gets to wrap back to his Krugs, and then gets to come down the map to play to the bottom side again. So again, playing away from Sneak and Destroy, because you just don't have to care about the Nasus. Is doing perfectly fine into the Mordekaiser right now. Play for the Dragon as well. Try to help defend this bot lane a little bit. Yeah. Really, really solid decisions from Yodokan.
Yeah. Because we know that in general that it was going to be a pretty slow lane in general, but considering we have spoke about the inaccuracies of Mordekaiser early on, so Nasus, aside from having to simply just not try to get 3-stacked and move and stay far back lane farm, he's fine. Flash over the wall though.
Oh!
Lots coming at his face. Soup turns it back around, and he gets
back.
one.
That was insane. That was actually about as well played by Soup as you could possibly ever ask for in a situation like that where you're able to walk away. And Yodokan just sliding in, forcing the flash out of Akali. There's just no cooldowns really left to actually utilize. Shoves the wave in. Now, if Akali decides to push it back out, you're going to run face first into this Sylas. And if you don't push it back out, you're just kind of stuck in a really bad position where you're not going to get it back off. Yeah, if I were Yodo, I would stick around. I would drop a W on top of the Akali. Don't let her leave the laning phase. Just continue to bully away. Instead, walks in for more camps, wants to play for more individual game, but it could have really, really messed up Akali Go skirt right there.
Yeah, you could have just completely just like you're saying, like turn instrumental, destroyed her overall laning phase, which I mean it's Akali social cover, but right now with Falligence here, they get the stun onto the ADC, but hook not landing is big.
Oh, and top lane, there's a roam up. Sylas and Graves, Yodokan and Soup, they walked in to take the blue buff away from Falligence, who is in the top side of the map, if I recall. And that was that. Like nobody was there to respond. Akali can't push fast enough to really punish Soup. It means that they're just gonna give up a massive play. I'm also not sure what happened because it seemed like Sneak and Destroy just flashed for no reason on the top side of the map at the end of that play. I'm not really exactly sure why. At minimum, they do trade for the Dragon on the bottom side of the map. And again, it is top side dominance coming through here for the Payton Grizzlies.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how they've continued to like funnel themselves and more so into the top lane, which we're expecting previously, but not exactly into a Nasus lane, right? I was expecting to perhaps have them change priorities, but top jungle synergy continues to remain strong, true and free, like America and my schedule. Because right now, Soup though, having the Akali ultimate, not able to trade off. Her Prince execution goes in and cannot be taken out.
Really aggressive from Soup, though. You could have just used it to escape and walk away. Instead, use it aggressively to push the Akali out of the laning phase since Yodokan's here. Worst case scenario, Yodokan just picks up a couple of plates here. Honestly, I would have liked to see Sylas at least tap this tower so you could grab one of the turret plates with it. Yeah, okay, all right. Do none of the work and get all the gold for it, sure. all right, fine, Soup. You're allowed to do that, I guess. Moocher.
Yeah, you gotta do some, right? Because like, man, Soup's been denied like a wave and a half too. He's here to play so aggressive lane in general, but it's a Sylas. Like once he gets Everfrost, he's suddenly full build, so it's fine.
Yodokan is just bullying Falligence this game. Look at the farm difference. He's doubled his farm. He's the most farm in the game.
As a jungler.
And like if you power farm, you can kind of hit those numbers, but like in order to hit numbers like this, you are stealing camps constantly. And really and truthfully, Yodokan has been doing that. That's absolutely true.
Dude, Soup just walked past the entire wave into the lane against the Akali, forced her to back off. Man, if that's not a confidence, I don't know what is. Like,
it's pretty wild.
Ridiculous. Because now Yodokan as well too. I'm surprised he has more farm than like your top laner, your mid laner, right? It's disgusting. He even has the Rift Herald 2 for him as soon as it comes up. It's probably gonna take Dragon as well.
All right, and could just walk into mid lane here and just say, okay, well I'll just help you push this wave. Yeah. Soup, give him the minions at least, please. No, he took the whole wave. Criminal. He's a criminal.
Doesn't care. They know that Graves
can't keep getting away with this.
Busted. As he gets towards just near the end of the game, well, towards the mid game, right? So even that, he even takes half the plate gold. Yodacon, man, let Soup have something.
Okay. Yodacon dropped the Rift Herald. All right, he gets that gold. He didn't have to take the entire wave prior to that, though. Oh, Falgent. Oh, he's in a very bad place. He gets cute against the tower. Wait, what was that?
Yep, that's clean. Akali should be able to, trade things out. Perfect execution. Soup. Right, doesn't have enough damage. It's not Akali has to peek out.
Stupendously played right there by Akali Go Skirt just to clean up that entire situation. I do not know what Yodacon was doing with that E. He, like, just ran underneath the tower. You could have shorted the E just to get close enough for an auto attack. You could have tried to save it, walk under, take a tower shot, and then E out over top of the wall or anything like that. Instead, used it, got CC'd, and took a tower shot, and was between the two. It was like the worst possible decision that could have been made. In fairness, where fairness is given, it's still 1,500 gold lead. Yodacon is still massively ahead in the jungle position, has the first and a half completed items of the game. And when you have the shield, it's going to be a lot harder for Akali Go Skirt to really make anything aggressive happen. And with level 6, now Stingray gets to be anywhere they want on the map and make some kind of massive influence happen.
Like, when you're just so strong and so confident you don't care. So you'll do whatever is possible to make sure the other person knows that I'm better than you. I think that was one of those moves, personally.
And then he died because of it, though. That's the problem. It's like, if he doesn't die, then I get it. Then it's a flex. But, like...
See, that's why narcissism is bad. Confidence.
Narcissism is bad.
Hot take, I know. Akali's fine. Like, you just, kind of gets to walk out of this, considering the Twilight Shroud is there.
Oh... Okay. Yodacon also is an absolute beast. So, like, Falgence is just like, can I have... Please, sir, may I have some camps? Anything like that. Sting is here as well. Camps? Can I have my camps, please? Smite? Where's the Smite?
I mean,
okay, Yodacon got it.
He does not have Flash, so...
Doesn't have ult
Not too sure where he was going, but now the rest of the team comes in. 2 gets taken out. That's just greed, essentially. That cost them.
Yes. I understand it if Sting is able to pop ultimate somewhere in there. Just was not in position to be able to do so. And now Akali has 5 kills. This is the second game in a row where Akali Go Skirt is just absolutely destroying the matchup. Okay, Cowboy Man is certainly dead here, right? They stopped for the dragon. They did not need to stop for the dragon. They should have just walked down and killed. And Ashe is staying here right now. Ashe is still... My guys, go kill the Ashe, then come back with the dragon. It's not going anywhere.
No, Ashe is definitely dead now.
And she's still gonna die!
No way, man. That's so illegal.
Like, if you were Ashe at that point, like, Cowboy, like, if you're listening and you're watching this VOD back, if you're gonna do something that criminal, just walk under the tower and tank it and just execute and get a 3rd plate. You might as well if you're gonna play. But, like, they give you 3 chances to run, my guy. 3 chances.
It's fine. It's fine.
I know. I realized
Dude,
it's all right.
It's fine.
That was so funny.
All Gucci, but not Soup can't play this lane anymore though. Where after every single 3-point strike in an auto, just half his health gets taken out. So, hopefully he managed to get his first item, and then he'll be able to at least do something across the other end of the map. Because now what we're hoping for is on the side of the SHS Eagles is a scaling. Essentially.
Yes.
That's pretty much it. But to keep giving away advantages like this, then Payton Grizzlies, you got a shot.
Okay. Waiting. Here comes Akali.
Oh. The stun and hook also both unfortunately missing. He lands the Eagles over the wall and gets 2. That was sick.
Akali's insane. I mean, Akali goes, you have the namesake champion, so you gotta flex like this. But like, okay. And Thor of Atlantis finding a kill. And bottom lane. Everyone's killing everybody. The entire map has just gone completely...
That's it. I'm calling it. We're going to get 3.
Okay.
It's happening right now.
Oh!
Re-engage comes in. Perfect execution.
Menace? The Menace?
Perhaps. Could be big. One more. The Q. Oh! He doesn't land. That could have been it.
No abduct. Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Just get
behind minions.
Yep. What are we doing? What are we doing right now?
He's
Toxic babes. Toxic babes, please. Oh, hey, what's up, Falcon?
Hey, that's how you do it. All right.
Oh, Sting, you didn't get it.
It's still
it's
going,
tragic.
but they're all so far. You can't do anything past this. Probably just get fouls, if anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. They did get the one. Feels like that was a very, very close situation to breaking back into the favor of Payton Grizzlies, but thankfully SHS, off the back of their mid laner being an absolute beast, is able to walk away with a huge advantage, which is really, really good to see. Really, really good for them to be able to continue this kind of reign of dominance. They're going to lose Rift Herald just because that fight went on a little bit too long. But again, cleaning across the map, having this advantage to work with. I really thought top lane was also like a seed that got planted. We talked about it as an investment into cryptocurrency. This time it's more of a seed where they have to wait multiple seasons, but eventually get that massive, massive dividend off the huge crop yield. But,
it's a bond.
Yeah, it was. But then it's a bond. I'm trying to go holistic here, my boy.
Whatever. It's fine. People get it. Anyways, it's... We'll look towards the other end where it's it's only about a 2K goal lead, but the field is like so much more considering how strong all the members of Payton Grizzlies are right now. And if you're looking at SHS, right, you're thinking, okay, at least we have Nasus, right? Question mark. So that's kind of your saving grace, but hey, you know, Dragons are still definitely something that can be stacked forward, but with 2 in their pocket, I think SHS is gonna have to step up a little bit.
Second absconded duck does not work out for Soup right there. Again, it's a feeling where like Nasus feels like there is no counter to it in this game. Where it's like even a Kali shouldn't probably have the damage necessary to do that. That was really bad timing. Yes, Mordekaiser is going to be stuck in his own ultimate, and there is Vision that was just avoided completely. Falagence also has no health against the Graves, so it was just 1 Q, that was all that was necessary. So top lane interaction once again. Soup. Oh! Nope, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Akali is just disgustingly strong, man.
I guess oyster crackers, is that what Akali is in this one? Soaking up soup literally 100% of the time?
What?
Oh, I don't know. Do you use saltines? Is that what you use instead of oyster crackers? Oyster crackers are just objectively better.
What are oyster crackers? I've never heard of
You don't know what oyster crackers are?
No.
Canadians don't have oyster crackers? Like 6-sided, like hexagonal crackers? Like tiny ones?
I mean, I think I've seen them, yeah, but like, I don't know that's what they're called.
They're called oyster crackers, and they're delicious. They're just objectively the best cracker. I don't know. I didn't name them. We had a fight around Dragon Brewing, so that's cool.
You're right. Okay, well, no oysters here. But they should be. I mean, I don't know about rushing this here, guys. Akali has 2 items. And they can probably just smite this. The other class pretty strong. They look to go in. The Cyclone. And one's already gone. Akali's so damn strong.
That was an insane engage range that they actually just operated on right there. Like, it's kind of ridiculous to see how far they were able to actually manage. They do give up mid turret for it. They're going to dump TP just so they don't lose top turret as well.
Yeah.
As Soup, Noah's gone for a second there. I had to wait. He's going to try to run away. Getting chased in the topside jungle.
Yeah, he's
fine.
He has the Nasus there, but it is a, you know, it's a 2v5.
It's fine.
Nasus moving down should not have happened, but he's tanking enough to try to get away with this. Tower is up for not for much longer. And yeah, they can just full dive them. Oh, Nasus, you walked in range. That's not you, buddy.
Not ideal. Okay. But I think we're okay. They're going to probably answer with top tower here because they do have all 5. Only reason to be up here. Baron is going to be spawning in 24 seconds too. They could try for that because they have 30 seconds on Seeking Destroy, who has no flash and no ultimate, but no TP either. So you don't even really necessarily need to worry about the Nasus joining the fight in the right circumstances. It's a strange position. They're just going to leverage the fact that they're stronger at team fighting. Keep pushing the pressure.
Akali's just way too strong, and because of the CC and change that they have so far, they can just completely run over them.
It's really crazy for how much of an advantage that Yotacon got at the beginning of the game. Again, these constant skirmishes that like Akali just swept up here and there led to 11 kills, this massive kind of discrepancy in terms of everything. Although, has that completed a second item? You do have the fully stacked Dark Seal, so that probably on its own counts as basically a second item. So you're like probably 3 items worth of effective components coming out here from the Akali. Now the Shadow Flame comes out, so there's the second completed item alongside the Oblivion Orb. But you would have thought that Yotacon, after having such an insane beginning of this game, would have certainly been in complete command of the map. And again, giving over shutdown gold, giving over kills and such, letting Akali just kind of spiral out of control on the namesake champion has been this massive boon for the side of SHS, who have come back in this series really effectively. Not to mention bot lane went a lot better in this one. They were still bullying Sting. This time Cowboy Man started getting picked as well, so the Kai's in a really great place to really contribute to fights as well. They don't really need any sort of diving presence. They can work their way forward with the Kai'Sa, or they can start diving with the Akali. Either way, perfectly good winning team fight situation for themselves.
Yeah, so he spent his time farming when he should have spent his time optimizing and helping his lanes, right? Now, realistically, going up top is fine, but it's a Nasus, you don't need the help, right? You want to be looking more towards Soup again, like towards like Cowboy Man, who like the actual Ashe like, could have actually helped out a lot if she was just far ahead, slowing down the Akali, even getting arrows too. Would have been a big proponent of to perhaps just any way that Akali doesn't get ahead, but instead Soup got sapped his resources, and now we're looking at least 3k gold lead, right, from their side. Control of the map and continuing kills like that is what you don't want.
Not in the slightest. You do see Yotacon is actually going to be heading up to cover top lane here. Maybe try to push into Thor of Atlantis. See if we can find something. Just kind of depends whether that's going to be the case.
The flash is out, though. He wants to try to at least get the tower, but no real way to move in. I can see the tower dive here is kind of tricky, but as the rest of them can try to move against him, there's the ult as well underneath his own tower. And Soup is taking so much damage, almost gets the kill inside of his own ult. And there we go, that's the finish, but they don't have time to get the tower.
Unreasonable amount of time that they spent on that dive with the double Mordekaiser ults coming out means that it's too long. I don't know whether it was Mordekaiser's ultimate that came out second or whether it was Soup's ultimate that came out second right there. I think it was Soup's ultimate that came out second, which was a mistake because you have 3 people fighting him at the time. Yotacon easily could have executed him with an auto attack, and they could have tried to push for the tower, but going into the Mordekaiser ultimate probably bought 3, 4, 5 more seconds that were just, again, that one little bit of kind of execution ended up leading to the rest of the SHS being able to head to the top of the map. And now what they got to do is just go for Dragon. If they get Infernal Soul here, there was nothing traded. They got 1 kill for 1 kill on the bottom side of the map and bottom tower and set up around Dragon. It's an amazing amount that SHS is going to be able to walk away with. They have to be able to fight this because you do not want to give Infernal Soul over to this Akali. That will be the end of your game almost certainly.
Yep, yeah, because Akali being 11-0, looking towards 4 items, right, this early on in the game where people are just not getting some MR, right? Akali trounces you. Like, with question, considering the skill that we've seen from Akali Go Skirt, yeah, it is not even going to be close for what they're going to be able to do. Like, just zero question. But what goes on, they are technically at a 4v5. Mordekaiser can TP down towards the bot lane if need be, but they know they have to fight Akali. If Akali is alive, they do not win this.
It's going to be a tough one to try to hunt out Akali Go Skirt in the grand scheme of things. Yotacon has to step up massive. 2.5 items. Strongest member of the team right now. Sneak and Destroy can do some pretty significant stuff. Big Pike ultimates could also make a world of difference in this fight as well. Singh has not been able to find even a single one of success. Not Payton on that ultimate even a single time, but this could be the game where that makes all the difference in the grand scheme of things. They're going to try to pull the Dragon out. We saw what happened last time, but last time they didn't have 4 members. They only had 2 or 3 here. TP directly into the Dragon Pit is going to shove off. Got to see the Nasus is behind as well. They're just going to go for it. Can't let him have it. You got to go in and get it.
Needs to steal here. Nothing can go in. They push the Dragon back, and there's no shot as the fight ensues. Cover one of the backside. Big Cyclone as well, and they take them all down. Yeah, and that's just GG here, Dean. They're so god dang strong that it doesn't matter what they do or how they do it. We're going to game 3.
Yeah, things started to dogpile. A great ultimate coming through from Thor from Atlantis, just to make sure that the Graves is taken out of commission. No smite available for the Dragon itself. It did get a little bit precarious right there. It seemed like the Dragon was a little bit up for grabs, maybe not secured as well as they would have wanted it to be, but ends up going over to them. And now Infernal Soul, Akali runs rampant. After this, probably has 3, maybe even 4 completed items. Honestly, finish the Morello, finish the Magi's, and just have a ridiculous amount. You kill anybody in one combo and nothing else, and there's just not the itemization available here for the side of Payton to be able to compete against it. There's just really not much you can do at that point. And especially couple that with 3 item Kais, couple that with everybody else that's on the team right now, there's just no way to get back into this game. You're only down 6k, but it feels like a lot more than that for the side of Payton Grizzlies.
Yeah, it's when most of that gold is on your Akali, right? And you can just allow for setup, for your Akali to be able to just take over the game, right? You're looking at your cyclones and such. So then that kind of just leads you down towards a rabbit hole where, like, okay, yeah, we just take way too much damage. We have almost no AP resistance, and we just die. Where you'll pick up Pal to clean up the rest of them. Where he's also at 3 items. There's just no shot.
None in the slightest.
Yep.
Waiting to see everything kind of get broken around the map. There's still quite a bit to be accomplished. And the one problem with having this Infernal Soul, having this Baron buff, is that if you lose a fight, you do give a ton of gold over to the side.
Yeah.
There's just a pick on a Stingray? Nope. He's fine.
That was
risky
one
there.
Cathian Rain and an auto, and he's almost dead.
Yes, very, very close. The carries here have all the gold, and that's everything that you could ever want for the side of SHS. There is an Elder Dragon coming up soon enough, which could still spell a bad situation, because there's not much defense built on this team. Most of the defense is built into your 2 Bruisers and quite a bit into the Nautilus. But if you are able to hit those damage dealers, you will do plenty of damage, potentially find a kill. That is a bold blast cone by Toxic Babes. Doesn't matter. Nobody's here to punish. Nice grab.
Yep, and finds the exact right target to the pullback as well. What a setup. And you say there's work to do here, Dean, but it doesn't matter if you can just push one lane and get to the end.
And that's another hook that's going to be coming in here. There's nothing else to accomplish inside a game like this. Ultimate comes out. Double Mordekaiser ultimate's funny, but grand scheme of things, Akali getting fed in that mid game, finding all those big eliminations on the namesake champion, being able to kind of flex the muscles here on some of that individual plays, all that is necessary. Yunakon lived forever somehow right there, was able to find one, but just doesn't matter. This is going to be a big win and a tie-up of the series. 1-1 now, down to a best-of-1 between these two in our semifinals.
Sir, now, if you're looking at the overall season, you're thinking, okay, they're not too far off, right? This could possibly happen, considering, even looking at the overall disparity, overall the disparaging in the ranks as well. You think it maybe this might have been a more one-sided affair, but hey, it's when your jungle decides to focus a lot on your camps, you're thinking your lane's not getting too far ahead, and suddenly your Akali and then your Kai'Sa have 4 and 11 kills. You've got some work to do, but we'll see if the things do manage to change, as it will take a short bit of time before you get reset up for our final game of the night. We'll see you back in a bit. And we are now finally in for the final game of the day between these two very fun high schools to watch here. I'm, of course, Ravish, joined here by my friend, Need. I Need. Wait, hold on. What's Dean backward?
Nade?
I'm here with my friend Nade.
Why am I backwards, Homito?
Well, that's not a word, but either way.
Homito is a name. It means you're my small homie.
What?
It's like homie.
I've never heard anybody ever say that.
Yeah, like perrito is like a small dog.
I know what a taquito is.
That's a small taco.
Is that a small taco?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah, because taquitos aren't a taco.
Okay.
We're gonna get into this later. What matters right now is we're seeing the picks and bans and the draft going on in front of us.
Yeah, already some cool stuff. Yeah, well, Kassadin, as a response to the Akali, kind of cool. Scaling pick, a little more defensive for the laning phase. You
True.
still have the fear of the snowball, but I think it's a lot easier to dig yourself out of the snowball and avalanche, if there happens to be one as the Akali, if you have a
Mm-hmm.
champion that is equally capable of eviscerating the backline. The cooler pick, though, I mean, first off, they know the Mordekaiser's coming. It's been picked twice in a row. They go Fiora.
Yeah.
They just say, oh, yeah, let's take the highest percent health damage champion in the entire game and just throw it in the
Yep.
top lane matchup. And the Silas jungle. Some cool builds that you can do with the Silas jungle. I'm curious to see what Yutacon decides to go for, because this is a very, very unique pick that's popped up only as of the new season.
Jackshaw. That's where you go into Charlotte's jungle.
Demonic Jackshaw is
busted.
disgusting.
It is
this combination,
busted.
yes,
On,
it's very
on
good.
any AP carry who can go slightly tankier, busted. Like disgusting. It's but we can talk more about that as we look to get into the game, though. But a lot of familiar picks. You saw the Nautilus last time, they worked out quite well for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't take the Caitlyn again, right? Yeah. On the other end, right? The pick of the Jhin, I find, is unorthodox, where you're looking at a lot of your damage to be very much based around the burst, right? You know, the Kai'Sa has the option as well, but sorry, the Kai'Sa was banned out, but yeah, like I was saying, yeah, Caitlyn was still there too. The Ashe was still something that they could pick up themselves. I think there's better ADC options. I feel like we're there than Jhin, because like it's Jhin, you know, he's whatever.
I'm in a similar situation. I feel like there are a ton of options to go for here. You get the Ezreal Karma on the other side. You know they're trying to play safe. The bot lane has been dominating literally all series. Who Pickle alongside either one of the other two that have played in the support role has just been amazing. And it's really, really tough to go like, yeah, that makes it like let's grab the Jhin. The Jhin is almost always a utility type bot laner. Yes, you have some pretty good assassination. Once you're on 3 items, you can really kill some people. But like you go Caitlyn if you want to play into it, right? You could play like, if you want to really brawl, you could go like Samira, or you could go Nyla. And I know Nyla's a really big pick for Pickle, where like if you go some sort of sustainy type bot lane, you go Taric. That would be just like an insanely good grab up in a composition like this. Where it's like you have Ezreal Karma, they're going to bully you a little bit, but you haven't been losing the bottom lane, and you want response for the team fight because there's a Kassadin on the way, a Silas on the way, and a Fiora on the way that are going to beat you up if you are not careful. So it's like, okay, do we take a sack on the bot lane strength in order to have a really amazing team fight? Obviously not, because they decided for the Nautilus Jhin, which could bully, but I just don't see the strength of it when that's been your big win for the side of SHS.
Against an the other day, and just the entire time, she continued to gain infinite shield, infinite healing, although not a exuberant amount of death. Didn't matter, because by the time she was even half health, we were all dead, right? Because we couldn't focus or shoot. It was excruciating to play against. So I think, yeah, that's something that you could just pick up as an as your front line, honestly, if you want to. But what's good with the Kali on her, you know, being on the Kali again, you're definitely not looking to give a Kali any more advantages, right? Because it's just, we saw what happened last game where she was just unstoppable, didn't die the entire time, I think, and every fight was null and void if she was alive. So we'll see if that continues to be the case, or you know, if we see a different trend, because Soup did a good job of maintaining the Akali and make sure that she stayed in the lane until, you know, the Akali update goes.
It's 2 games in a row now. You played the Varus into the Yone, and Soup kind of got bullied by Yone and by this assassin, by this high mobility player. And then game number 2, the Akali kind of spiraled out of control. All it took was one big shutdown and one big double kill, and the Akali had now run over your laning phase. There was nothing really for you to accomplish. You were not winning that setup. So now it's a situation where, like, the Kassadin's not really meant to do anything except for keep the Akali bogged down, make sure Akali can't go roaming, try to wave clear against it. And again, it's enough of a champion of its own volition to be able to take into the Akali and say, okay, I can fight with you if absolutely necessary. I've got a bunch of magic resistance, that type of stuff built in. So maybe that's the idea. It's just a pure defensive lane here in an attempt to make sure that Soup does not fall victim to this massive Akali, this massive mid laner who's really been the shining light for SHS here.
Right, because you know, I find, although the Akali was one of the big ways that we saw, we're talking about how SHS just managed to come back, right? But also like the bot lane as well too, with the Kai'Sa, you know, just has continued to dominate lane after lane. You saw what the Caitlyn did, you know, and now with the Kai'Sa Nautilus as well too, were continued to tear apart that Pyke Ashe. So Now with the Jhin, it should be a bit of a different result, I find, considering that you're not necessarily going to burst them down, but you can make sure to unlock a lot of options that they themselves don't get any advantages, right? Where you're looking at consistency C chains, a lot of opportunities to get, your first shot off, right? That's where I find as Jhin, you're thinking, okay, I grenade, I maybe just get a little bit of damage, and I walk away once again, and everything is fine. As the game is afoot, your Dean, you're finally here.
Exciting stuff. You get a chance to see winner of this, winner of the semifinals, winner circle, the team that's going to be going on to face Milburn High School in that finals matchup for all the marbles in this tournament. Really incredible to think. To my knowledge, this is mostly high school teams, but I think it's just any kids from 13 to 18 are welcome. So very, very young kids, very, very young players who are kind of dipping their toes into competitive League of Legends is always a remarkable thing. So I really do like that quite a bit.
I agree. What's also fun is that I just found out that Canadian schools can also enter, I believe, into this. So that's awesome. I'm a big fan of Canada because I lived there.
Yeah, I think all of them got put out in the first round because Canada sucks.
Wow, that's mean.
You know how you said you were going to make fun of anybody who you aren't a part of? Like how you were going to, when you grew hair back, you're going to make fun of all people? Yeah, that's me with Canadians, but all the time.
That's true. It's because, Dean, you want to be Canadian so bad. That's the thing. That's why.
It's because I don't know where Canada is. It's been so long that I'm too afraid to ask. So,
all good. I mean, the Cowboy does not know what the lane is right now, as he hasn't been able to see it just yet. It's first blood.
Yeah, a nice little kind of walk up into the brush. Pickle Pal and Toxic Babe's able to find something, which is really interesting because they chose different pathings right there between String and Cowboy Man. Oh, did they swap? They swapped. String has been the support the entire series, and Cowboy Man has been the AD. So String now in a really rough position, but that was Cowboy Man getting caught out right there. They swapped bot lane roles. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, that's fascinating in general, but. Fiora is an S tier pick. We didn't talk about this top lane, but yeah, Fiora's nuts, and she still continues to dominate the charts in general, win every single lane match that she's present with. Now, if you are looking at Fiora, right, you're thinking, I guess the Mordekaiser, there's not much you can do, and you'll be correct in looking at that, because that is exactly why.
Yes, no CC can ever tag. The shield is really effective. The problem is Mordekaiser also gets really bulky very easily inside of the game. And so it's just very easy to utilize that max health kind of zone. So you're willing to take fights from close range if you're Fiora. And that's kind of where Mordekaiser thrives. He's kind of like the Darius type where it's like you don't usually want to be fighting them from really close up. Well, Fiora loves that. Fiora gets heals. Fiora gets these big procs of huge true damage up against the target. It's just everything that you could possibly want. The grand, from 10,000 feet is the Fiora in this matchup. So you're feeling great. And has support of Yotacon again, which is nice to see.
Soup has flash, does use it, gets away.
Oh!
A tower shot for free. Zealousness from Sneak and Destroy.
Yeah, just poking up way too far. And furthermore, Yotacon's been sitting up there in that top rush so many times now. That is ridiculous. He's canceled his back, I think, like 4 times. Has been sitting here for over a minute, just kind of ambiently collecting a little bit of CS. He's still canceling the back. I think he wants to play into the Mordekaiser, but just like not taking the bait is Thor of Atlantis, so just going to walk out. Nothing really to be said here.
Honestly, because if you look at it, the wave's in a pretty good spot for him too. It's kind of just chilling in the middle, so he has no need to try to move it anywhere or necessarily push it anywhere either too, because he knows that pushing it any further leads Fiora into a much bigger advantage than the one that she already has, because she's already down some farm. But Hook will not land, and Vigilance will have to go with.
The Ezreal Karma, after having taken that kind of initial play, have now gotten the pushback in their laning phase, the whole intention of having it. It is actually a good position. There's no aftershock, so Talk to Dave's under real threat. Has to flash out. Nice E in. Oh.
If he was able to land one more auto, that actually would have been a kill over Stingray. But unfortunate, especially considering that already popped the heal and the Ignite as well. So 2 sums down from each side on the bot lane. Flash is available, but this is a interesting trade because the longer she stays in this passive, like This isn't exactly great for either side as you get to pretty much trade evenly. Nice, but can't get the stun off.
Yeah, really, really well kind of kited right there by Thor Atlantis. The one problem you do have as the Mordekaiser in this particular game is that while, yes, you are trading relatively effectively, and that passive does dissuade the Fiora from doing some crazy things, you're down a lot of CS. You're down, you haven't even broke 10 right now, 5 minutes, which is not a place you want to be as the Mordekaiser.
He's got 10?
Because, yeah, there's the 10. Yeah, you're breaking double digits. There's 11 as well, so you're having a couple of things here.
Hey,
has some jungle support as well. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Stun not landing, but Faustus is here, so that position gets given away. But like you're saying, Yoto is
nice.
Also moving up, and they should be able to match this considering how low the Fiora is. And no level 6 will mean the dueling will get that much harder.
You want that fight?
Down. Yoto is kind of by himself. What's he move it against him? He should fall here. Has to use the flash, but
Abscon.
There's a lot of opportunities to just, take it out. Easy stuff. And now with Soup here too, gonna be able to try to get some tower shot. Whoa, that was sick.
Soup came out of nowhere right there. Yeah, who'd have thought? I usually order salad, but honestly, I'm kind of regretting the decision. That was kind of awesome. He was able to sneak in out of absolutely nowhere. He looked like he was just barely safe in top lane. You get a kill as well. Sneaky destroys in a great position. Didn't even have to press the ignite right there. So kill threat's back on.
Exactly.
Like solo lanes doing really well in this one. Not so much the jungle position is the last two games have for Yotacon to begin with, but you're feeling great if you're the solo laners.
Yeah, because Dean, when you're at a restaurant, say it Olive Garden, when they say super salad, you just say yes.
Yeah,
you want a boat?
Absolutely. I told you that in confidence, all right? You don't have to bring it up every single time we're on broadcast.
Well, next time, listen better. Either way, Cowboy Man and Sting will continue to hold themselves here. As they are down, a fair bit of CS, but that's fine. It's okay. They just have to continue to use abilities to try to stay behind the wave and just survive.
Oh, okay. Poking back and forth. It's just that Cowboy Man is standing so far up in order to make these kind of karma harassment happen that you're taking some abilities from Jhin, you're taking some autos from Jhin, and I think that's causing some problems. Again, it's the bot lane falling at least mildly behind. It's a relatively tough position to be in, but it's nothing crazy. It's not like you're going to be completely down inside of this bottom lane. It's just the Ezreal is going to take quite a bit longer to get online than the Jhin will. So Jhin will have this bit of power spike long before the Ezreal actually does, which is something to note in this game, that at minimum the Jhin will spike a bit harder when it comes to kind of the individual team fights. This is the first objective of the game. I was about to mention, it's been 8 minutes. We haven't seen the Dragon. We haven't seen the Rift Herald pop up quite yet. We're going to start off with Dragon stacking to the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, SHS has been really good about just Dragon stacking pretty much in all 3 games they've been in, right? Which is how you find they've actually garnered quite substantial leads as well, or like maintain some sort of opportunity for them to stay within the game. Ooh. Right now, though, should be able to just get out of there, but can't go on the tower.
Soup, back out, safe as a button. Nothing crazy. They do have quite a bit of pressure. Oh, actually, Pickle is in a really terrible. What? I feel like Cowboy Man should have just tanked the turret shot and got the kill. That was okay. I mean, you did drop a lot of damage, and now the Jhin is going to be low in the laning phase, so you'll take that win absolutely. But that felt like it was some play left on the table there, some meat left on the bone, if you will. Huh. All right.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yodakano cannot actually be here, by the way, as well. He's just trying to counter jungle once again.
Can't he?
No.
Why not?
He's trying to counter jungle, but he's not strong enough. Nor especially compared to his previous instances where he could bully the jungler. As right now, he's the one on the back foot. He's the one down farm. He's the one having to give up certain camps, and his lanes are doing fine, but he has to kind of build up his own portfolio.
That's why he's trying to get some bit of advantage over top of Phalogens. Took that one camp away. He's only one camp away from getting that shield on the Sylas as well. Not to mention, just as a forewarning, Yotacon player that we've had our eye on all series is not going to be playing for the Jack Show. Is instead going to be playing for the Night Harvester, which is what the intention behind the Dark Harvest is that you're going to be fighting quite a bit, trying to play for some of the lower. Yeah, it's not as cool. I still think if you're playing against a team that likes to build health, like you would imagine eventually Xin Zhao would get pretty healthy, Mordekaiser's going to get pretty healthy, and you're going to have, obviously, Nautilus is going to get pretty healthy. Even Akali in a lot of circumstances. This feels like a demonic Jack Show game. This feels like this would have been a very, very good circumstance, especially with the damage you got behind it, but it's fine. It is what it is. It's not that much damage at the beginning of the game. Obviously, Yodakan wants to get aggressive and play for some more damage at the beginning of the game, so just going to make the best of it.
Ultimate in for Cowboy Man should be the hook back as well, but now we're looking for Faust to actually make his move in. Flash just came back up as well, but gonna not actually be able to use it. I won't need to. Walks out of the ult, use, but they're still within range. But Bowser will take some damage back.
Okay, we actually have 2 more into the bottom lane potentially, but Akali is going to leave. And importantly in this game is going completely differently from most of our games so far, because in this series, Yodakan usually has the massive jungle advantage. It's not the case. It is actually down 5 CS, down, actually same number of camps, just down a little bit of CS. Soup is doing great in the mid lane, which is a very rare thing to actually talk about. That is a solid Ezreal ultimate. That's going to certainly push Nautilus away. Bottom lane is still at a disadvantage, but they haven't been losing nearly as badly as in most of their games. They got cheese at that level 1, but that's the only kill. Soup! Get after it, boy!
That was cool.
Go get him! That was pretty... He gets right over top the 5-point strike. It got some extra damage in. Not quite there. Again, level 11, though, on that Cassidy, that massive power spike to be able to put you there. Oh, that's not going to save you, my boy.
That is bold. First thing destroy.
He missed! Oh! What are you doing? No! Oh, it's so tragic.
Flash and Ignite used there as well.
Oh, it's so painful.
I believe it was sort of that actually flashed that Q as well. That's why he survived.
Yes, I think that's the case, because all it took was the 1 extra zone. And the thing was, the tower aggro had already been on Sneak and Destroy because of the Ignite, and you broke the tower aggro. All you have to do is wait for the Mordekaiser ultimate to turn off, and then you're okay, because your Ignite will be down, and they will not have a defense. But Soup have the support of Yodo, but they're going to walk towards Rift Herald. They actually have the damage to absolutely devastate these two. If these two are not careful, they're just going to lose. They're done. They're stuck. There's nowhere for them to go.
That's it. Big silence. Cassidy also looking to move in as well. Then I went through this.
Go Cassidy. Go Soup. Get him, Soup.
Soup finally gets a Galania phase.
Soup go sheesh instead of skirt, I guess. Like, can I say that?
What?
I say Soup go. Yeah, because it's like Akali goes skirt, so it's like Soup go sheesh because he sheeshed right there.
Soup becomes a solid instead of liquid. Thoughts?
Soup becomes a solid instead of liquid. Are liquids inherently worse than solids?
Yes.
Wrong.
Because look, liquids are that. They're all slimy, but solids are.
Name one solid better than Dr. Pepper. Name one. You can't. It can't be done. So,
ice.
No, wrong. That's a liquid.
Vibranium.
That's not real.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
That's highly debatable. But either way, we'll instead look towards what is real. And in front of us is Toxic Babes and continuing the tale of who survives bot lane and continues to trade farm. And right now, both these bot laners have ways to get out alive, so they're fine for the survival. But Ultimate goes out. Yeah, kind of. He's just stuck.
No, and Cowboy Man gets it. Of the people that could have got that kill, you could have given it to Silas, or you could have given it to Sting on the Ezreal. Instead, the Karma's the one that grabs it, which is unfortunate, but there's not much to be said. The bottom lane has been particularly resilient. It feels like a couple of times now they've had opportunities to potentially go down. There's just been this massive engage, but it's just Jin. He's way too far behind Toxic Babes. Pickle is just not able to catch up, and so the Nautilus is left out to dry to some extent, and opens up the bottom side of the map for the Dragon. That's a really big take-up for this game, as they're going to tie up a Dragon count. They're up about 2,000 gold, 1,500 gold, whatever it might be. It's a great, very different position. A lot more similar to game number 1 here for the side of the Payton Grizzlies.
Yeah, because around these times last game, right, we were looking at least 2k gold leads from both sides. Now, although we see the Payton Grizzlies just have it right now, but if you count down for structures and stuff that we taken as well, right, it's neither side is really close to actually demolishing, except Million, of course, which Soup has been working away on one after the other. But either way, just Saints. Interesting choice.
Yeah, I think it's a position where, like, the Fiora is not going to do a crazy amount into this Akali. It gives potential for the Akali to actually straight up win the one-on-one. The Kassadin has not been that case. Now, the difference is that Kassadin will do fine, but in the short lane, I think it's a lot harder to handle anything. So if you are the side of... If you're the Payton Grizzlies, and you're communicating... Okay, I'm going to wait for this, because it should be mid-tower going down.
It is. Soup is looking to survive as well, possibly ult over the wall once he can. Soup.
He's out.
Chef, where are you?
Okay.
The anytime Soup does, I'll take the skills afterwards, but Couple takes a bunch of damage. Parry, one more auto, not be able to take it. And Akali is still good.
Ignite.
The trade. Nice. Well done.
Yeah, well played right there. It's just a 1-for-1 on the top side of the map, but you're going to take that after the Fiora because it's a bit of a shutdown on Akali. You got the mid lane tower, you got bottom lane, couple of kills. You're going to be diving underneath the tower here. Maybe Pickle's going to go down as well.
You are. Yorukanos, and that's a double kill. A flash also used, a slow, and the final shot also lands. That should be a triple to Fagulence.
All right, and an overstep coming through from the side of Payton Grizzlies on the bottom side of the map, trying that dive, and two members going down all at once. Soup bullying Thors of Atlantis right here. And no one, honestly, I think he could have gone back in if he wanted to, probably kill Thors of Atlantis. Just didn't want to get rooted up potentially underneath the tower by the Nautilus, but walking away. But you are absolutely good with the way that whole situation turned out, getting that mid tower. The one thing I still want to see, and I was going to bring this up as the mid tower went down, if you're the side of the Payton Grizzlies, you need to swap your Kassadin to top lane right now. It doesn't matter if the lane assignments stay the same and you end up swapping the Mordekaiser to top lane. If you give a long lane to the Kassadin, he'll kill Mordekaiser over and over again. In the mid lane, it's harder to do. You saw it right there where it's much easier to kind of use the geometry of the lane to just escape. If you swap Fiora into Akali, you're really not losing that much. If you're the Fiora, you're probably not killing her all the time. Anyway, you saw that there was just like a trade of kills here and there. You can see the long lane is beneficial for the Fiora, but I think it's easier for Akali to escape. But the Mordekaiser would never get away from a Kassadin aside.
Speaking of getting away,
Yorukan
stops that. Nice. Swoops that away, and
where are you going?
No one's getting away here either, my friend. Into the ultimate he goes. Should be able to take this, but close, but no beans for anybody. As Soup continues to maintain their purity.
Soup with beans. Soup with no beans. Beans with soup. Beans with no soup. I'm just, I don't know. I guess I am, yeah. I was going to make a chili reference, but I don't know if you know anything about chili, so...
I know chili is a thing that is viscous, has beans and beef.
It does not have beans. Traditional chili doesn't have beans in it. That's what I was going to make the point of. Yeah, see, teaching things. That's what I'm teaching, so...
Okay, all right. I guess I haven't had no chili, but I mean, chili's like, okay. It's just big. It's just soup.
It's just, yeah, it's hard. That's, again, where we're coming full circle. We're talking about the hearty Soup. We're talking about Soup being resilient in that situation up against the Mordekaiser. It was a pretty close situation. You can see Kassadin still not in that full one-shot mode quite yet, but getting real close, Ravish. Getting real close. Soup is 2 minutes away from getting an entire level. Will probably be 14 right after that. You can see just how hard it is for them. Oh, my God. Paladin, he's tried that so many times, and Soup is just giving him the old 1-2 skidoo.
1-2 skidoo. He asked him, "What are you gonna do?" Well, Fazlin says, "Hey, bibbity bobbity boo," you know. That's that resolves that.
That is true. Yes, Mary Poppins, I believe, is playing this game. Oh,
yes, indeed. But seems as though there's no more magic going on. The only thing that's gonna happen is the rest of the team disappearing, and a Soup will only be responsible for none. As now Yorukan and Cowboy Man shall all be reduced to Cowboy Boy, as Mr. Cowboy Boy.
I'm a little lost at the decision by Yorukan. I don't mind the fight. I think the fight's fine. The problem I had, I'm going to wade through this. Sting is actually dropping some decent damage. Yodo is not weak here. Fiora has come in for the fight. They're going to look to steal the dragon. They get it!
Smite! That's what you're looking for last game. That's what happened this game. Fiora not strong enough. And she longs for with the opponents. And she manages to take two immediately. But as the fight transgresses, shows Sneak and Destroy's chances of being able to get out of here alive. Blast code over the wall. And look at that. She's out of there. The French leave again.
Yeah, easy enough. It's a nice Dragon Steal. Again, within Infernal Soul, kind of on the docket here between these two teams, you definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of the potential for that Soul Point or for that Soul ever going over to the opposite team, especially with the number of hard hitters in a game like this. So really, really nice grab and a re-engage to the mid lane.
Oh, the pull-in too. Soup's strong enough and just all corner inside the ultimate. Sneak and destroy. I mean, it's strong enough to just take it. Mordekaiser does nothing to nobody. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's a situation that they're pushing in mid lane. They knew that there was still a Fiora on the map. They knew that there was a response coming out, yet they pushed for the mid lane anyway, trying to get something back. But it's just an overstay coming out from the side of SHS, feeling themselves just a little bit too hard right there. Their saving grace in this game is actually Falligence, who's picked up the majority of the kills. You got to shut down a Fiora right there in the middle of everything. You're playing around Xin Zhao now. Again, we are kind of flopped in this game where it's like you've now traded Yodokan for Falligence and Soup for Akali in this one.
Yeah, actually, two of the players who didn't get to have good games so far in the series. Now, finally get to see things happen. It's a shutdown back, and we continue the trade. Soup is just chasing the Pickle Pal, but it seems as though he might be much more of a Cucumber fan. One more shot, she'll take his life immediately and furiously as the Kali goes in. Flash expended, and over the wall goes Soup under the tower. Kali gets hers.
Didn't quite have the ability to get away. Well played by Akali as well. The flash, the ultimate, the E, everything you used to perfection to make sure that you could chase after that Cassidy as effectively as possible as Soup. Not quite able to clear. Still a 3k gold advantage here for the Payton Grizzlies. There's a lot of fight, though, that exists within SHS. Once again, Falligence feeling great. This Xin Zhao nearly on the 3-item mark, one of the highest in the entire game. You've got this massive Akali to work with once again. Jin's still a pretty decent threat. These ultimates have been really good to fight underneath of when it comes to the rest of this SHS squad. The one difference is side laning is going to go to a hell in a handbasket here very, very quickly for this team when Fiora picks up second, third, fourth item. Now you've got second item, third item. Again, once you get a little bit of magic resistance, it feels like there's basically no way for Akali to actually finish this lane either. It's just super easy for this Fiora to take over side lane, start pushing some of these towers, get a bunch of gold advantage for this game.
It continues to fall lower and I mean whereas just the past two games within 20 minute mark their side had a winner for both the SHS and Payton Grizzlies because there was evident that it was either the top laner or the jungler or the mid laner previously the Akali were so disgustingly far ahead. It's honestly a matter of what could transpire right now, although Soup is far ahead.
Oh my goodness.
He's not 1v5 just yet, but he's getting there though, slowly but surely.
Oh! He sees the ult Q.
Misses the auto. Unfortunate, but we'll try to, instead move forward, wait for one. The ultimate misses, and waiting on the cooldown to go over the wall. But there's more people here as we solo kill for Vagilus.
Okay, actually, more reinforcements on the way, ready to fight. Not gonna actually get anything done. The Akali gets shot off the bottom side, at least to some extent. That was a really weird decision-making from Soup. Soup, I feel like there was a winning play there that did not involve you dying to Falligence while burning your flash. Or actually, my apologies, didn't burn the flash. I thought it burned the flash gate or it top the wall, but did not.
The stopwatch,
Yeah, the stopwatch was burnt, but that's okay because it will be a Zonius more than soon enough. It felt like Soup had a winning situation, and instead of chasing after the kill and then waiting for the reinforcements from his team, just died. That's a solid door slam. Wow.
Yep, stops him in his tracks, but it's gonna be Thor once again. He's a little bit weaker, but as soon as he comes out of the ultimate, it gets taken away so quickly, and
as ult.
The lives are saved. SJS, that's like 3 times now.
As ult. You got it. Throw it blind. No. That's unfortunate. I was hoping the Ezreal would throw it and try to get something because there were 2 members that probably would have died to it, but very, very close. As Yodokan also strong, you can see inside of the fights, but when they take fights in the middle of multiple members, it seems like there's just more members of SHS readily available to jump on somebody at any given time. So it's led to this gold lead just stagnating completely. Infernal Soul now on the books for both teams. Cassidy on the way down. Teleports available for Soup to try to push into this one. Here we go.
Oh, they're getting hooked back onto one though, so that'll be a 4v5 so quickly. And not allowing them to get sold. They decide it's not worth it. The jungler isn't here, so they'll give that up. We're 2 for 2.
Yeah, I wanted to see kind of a full approach coming in from the mid lane. They honestly could have grouped up as 5 in the mid lane too and just opted for the big fight. Maybe done something right there. It feels like there's more than enough free reign for Cassidy to kind of go crazy inside of fights like this as long as Falgence doesn't get on top of him. So again, a little bit of indecision I think hurts Payton right there. SHS knowing exactly what they want. They're okay giving that one up. The kill hurts a little bit, but it's not too painful for the side of Payton Grizzlies. So SHS trying to dig themselves into a position, trying to dig their heels in. There comes a point where this Cassidy can probably just kill Jin outright, maybe just kill Akali outright if you're not super, super careful. You just want to stay stacked on this Tiamat, make sure that this sword that you got in Falgence on the Xin Zhao, player who stepped up in this game number 3, is really put in the limelight.
Being phenomenal stuff, but right now, here comes the engagement to cut them off with the choke. That was gorgeous, but Soup instead taking his own battles will continue for get a double kill, but it seemed as though the fight was going completely one direction. Maybe Yodakan will come out to change that. Unfortunately not. All he will do is survive, and Soup can only do so much.
It is ending up 2 for 2. A teleport forced by Akali into the bottom lane just to make sure that this Fiora doesn't end up winning the side lane. No ultimate, though. You have to be super careful if you're Akali underneath this turret, because the Fiora is still ridiculously strong. You might just have to give it away. I don't know what you can actually do about this.
She just takes turret. Yeah, you actually can't move in. And Fiora does have the ultimate here, but there are a lot of people moving against her, so Sneak and Destroy might be in some trouble. Set takes the fight, grand challenge. And Soup giving her some time to at least try to get away, maybe to get a kill, but does manage to get it and gets out, not alive. Should be dead here. Maybe gets one more onto Toxic Babes. One more auto lockdown. Actually gets in the 1v3. What a play!
Insane. Walking out with 2 kills right there, ends up being another 2 for 2 where the Fiora continues to get stronger and stronger as the minutes go by. Really have to shut down this Xin Zhao. Again, getting those stacks off that Hydra would be a massive start to making sure that the power is clamped off just a little bit, as no one's been able to do it quite yet. And part of that is just that there's so much focus elsewhere inside of fights. Like, you're super worried about Jin, you're super worried about Akali. Nobody's putting attention towards the Xin Zhao, who currently has 13 kills, one of the more powerful members in the entire game at the moment. But I think you can start relying on Cassidy to do that effectively. Really, your 2 big threats are the 2 divers and the Xin Zhao and the Akali. You just have to find a way to combine your champions, especially this Karma with those big shields. Could make a big difference. Make sure that Falgence ends up going down, Akali goes down without getting all too much. If that's the case, feels like Payton has a massive advantage, has a way to win this game.
Ways to win the game is right over here, my friend. Falgence, one more in, a smite, the Hexshaker pops out, but that's enough time for the rest of the team to get here and 2 fall. Not enough damage in the Silas.
And again, SHS, they are there and ready for the play. The attempted pick coming through felt like the front end damage just was not there from the side of Payton. They missed so many abilities. And because of that, Falgence just gets to walk away for absolutely free. Basically takes no damage on the back end. The Ezreal's not very strong. The Karma doesn't do all that much damage. It is mostly just Yodakan, who uses the Xin Zhao ultimate to stay alive just a little bit longer as the reinforcements come in. And with that, Baron buff. Baron buff popped here. SHS tie up the gold lead for the most part. A lot harder as the Fiora to split push into this. A lot easier to set up for the next dragon. So we're in for the long haul here. Hitting a 30-minute game. Nobody with a really definitive advantage outside of this sole point that's likely to be grabbed up by the side of SHS here.
Yeah, and we've seen the Soup and the rest of them just keep trying to make plays wherever they can. We're going to play more so for these picks instead of just definitive leads in general, which, would be definitely a lot more optimal for both sides. But either way, SHS continues to hold on every which way. As Drag now up within just a couple of seconds. And I do wonder as to what she comes out on top of this, right? As long as you don't lose 2 right away, if you are Payton, hey, you will roll shot of this. But, Akali as well. 2 items, although not the most optimal ones that you want if you're that ahead, but still be seeing what she can do nonetheless. Ooh, decent damage. See, Destroy, bold moving up against 3, losing half of his health, but they'll move away for now.
Nobody able to really do all that much. Once again, the Akali and the Xin Zhao are the two primary focuses. So Jhin losing a bit of health, not going to end up mattering all that much. What an ultimate from Yodakan. They're trying to evade on the Nautilus.
Trying to get the support, should be able to get him, and now the fight gets split apart in two, but we're talking about the Akali, how strong she is right now. That's a double kill for her. She was at 6, and now the rest of the fight falls. SHS, all they needed to do was hang on, and now they're in the lead.
One of the biggest things, Akali, or my apologies, Fiora gets pulled into the Death Realm. You got this big kind of front line with Falligence and with Akali. Doesn't matter. Your entire kind of initial burst from the side of Payton was burnt on the Nautilus support, not the members that really desperately needed it. I love the take of the Nautilus ultimate. That's like the second, third time I've seen it used really effectively. Yeah. Just not on the right target for the side of Payton, and because of that, can't really clean anything up. Soup! Ooh. That's the Jhin cleaning up.
Dagger, yeah. Coming in, that's the as he gets collected alongside, you know, just that crit shot too. So now you can manage to over the base here as well too. You can't extend any further, but this is a big push in if you are SHS. And now on the side of Payton Grizzlies, right? You were ahead the entire early game. We saw this in game number 2, but too many leads given away, too many zealous engagements. Now leading them to, you know, trying to find some way back into the game.
Looking like a QSS is on the horizon here for Sneak and Destroy as one of the members that desperately needs it. The Kassadin isn't hitting nearly as hard as necessary. I think the Dark Seal's got to go, and you just have to ditch it for some additional damage right here, right now. You're not going to get to a Morello. You're not going to get to anything that's going to stack to infinity like a Magi's. You just got to put yourself in a position where you're doing as much damage. You're trying to burst anybody out that you can. Because right now, the double shield on Falligence feels really hard to get through. It's really difficult to kind of track down the Akali. Akali's been a menace in these fights because Fiora can't touch her. You just need a response, and it feels like it's got to be the Kassadin. Like, Soup has to do so much work in these fights. You either have to decide to pick Pickle Pal, you have to go after Falligence, who doesn't have, I guess, for now, doesn't have that much about magic resistance, but I'm sure that it's coming any second now with the Wit's End. So you just have to hunt the Akali and hope that you can burst Akali down low enough that you can't go assassinating. Pray that Yodakan and Sneak have more than enough damage to fight everybody on the front line in the meantime.
And they've continued to set up one after the other by just having toxic baits, just get one hook, get one knockup, and then having Thordor of Atlanta just take with the main threat, right? Half the time it's been the Fiora as like a split in half. We're not looking at the Fiora to be able to split push just as much as he can, but Akali is quite strong right now. I think Fiora still doesn't win this, but it... actually no, Fiora's actually strong enough to actually win continuously, but doesn't matter because Akali can at least stop her.
Yes, it's about the ravaging gold lead. They're ahead about 3K. 32 minutes into the game, that makes a difference. It's not the largest difference in the world, but none of that's actually support. You see a third item completed right now for the Nautilus as opposed to just the 2.5 items completed for the Karma. Another big one is like the bot lane. Jhin is massively ahead compared to Sting. Sting is behind by a significant amount of gold at the moment, where the Kassadin's on even itemization, probably even better with the gold in the pocket. Junglers, you're a little bit behind. Top lane, you're quite a bit ahead. So you're just back and forth in a couple of places. You have to find ways to make it valuable. One of the bigger problems is that Mordekaiser, while has not been any effective damage in this game, that ultimate is such a deterrent and such a useful pull. You take Fiora out of a fight, you take Kassadin out of a fight, and what are you really supposed to do? Those are your two big damage dealers, and if they just get removed by the weakest member on the side of SHS, you just lose the fight.
Yeah, because then if you're looking at the rest of the team, right? Sure, Ezreal is fine, he can kite a little bit, but he's only got 2 items, so he can't chunk anybody yet. Your Karma's a Karma, and then your Fiora's usually splitting. So if one or the other is gone, right, there's only so much that one of them can do to get locked down CC over and over again. So tough calls right now as we look to probably play on the Dragon as you continue forward in this game here, Dean.
We do. 4th Dragon's going to be super important, going to be up here in just a couple of minutes. Baron as well is going to be up, but it seems like with mid inhibitor down, there should be enough push in the mid lane consistently here for the side of Payton that they're not that concerned about it. 1 minute now until the Dragon is really the mark that they're trying to make sure to hit, trying to make sure everybody's on point for it. And what I want to see, I got to see the Fiora back. I want to see it right now, and I got to see the QSS purchase. You have the null magic. I know you want to go for it. You got to give me that back right now because Seek and Destroy cannot go another fight removed by the Mordekaiser and not hitting one of the members of this team. It's the only person that could probably try to fight Valigen. It's probably the only person that can go and win a team fight on their lonesome if there's enough. Sneak and Destroy hunting after Thor.
I guess to slow down, see what's the grand challenge. Gets on the flash here as well, looking for the kill, and now Sneak and Destroy is stuck. Like he should manage to find opportunity to at least probably maybe pop over the wall, but lunge was used, and that should be it. Now with one of the main threats being gone, right? Dragon looks to come up at a 4v5. What do? You gotta do something to go win. But Kali's in the back line. She's taking up on everybody else. Execute one after the next. You get one for yourself, but what does it matter when everybody else is dead?
Whole lot of nothing right there. I really think it was the wrong choice coming out. Sneak and Destroy had the goal for the QSS. You have the ability to back. You try to at least farm up something, get a Rabadon's close for soup, something like that. You had ways to play this game out. And yet, again, it just feels like they do not understand where the power spike is going to come. They don't understand what they're trying to play for. And because of that, they're going to fall behind in this game now. SHS, they just pulled the Infernal Soul. If that's not enough of a lead, Baron buff should also be going over to this team with basically no recompense. With that, SHS looking like they're going to make the reverse sweep happen, look like they're going to be the champions of the semifinal, and that they're going to be the ones moving on to take on Milburn in this finals, unless there's something drastic that Payton can do about it.
Yeah, all they gotta do is dot the I's, cross the T's, and be able to cross the umlauts. So that's all they gotta get done here.
Cross the umlauts? You double dot the umlauts?
What's an umlaut?
It's the 2 dots over top of the German letters.
I only know that it's a word. That's pretty much about it. In using sentences.
Umlaut?
I have no precognition of what it was. I just knew that it was using sentences, so I guessed.
Yeah, yeah. Umlaut's a character, and it's in the German language.
It
makes it also. If you want the easiest pronunciation, is thank you. The easiest pronunciation for umlauts is just to take the vowel before it that it's over top of. So if it's an O, then pronounce it like an I, and if it's an I, you pronounce it like an E, and if it's an E, you pronounce it like an A.
That's weird.
That type of thing. It's a very generic rule, and it's not exactly correct, but if you're trying to pronounce something, just as a quick tip, there you go.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you. Today I learned, Ezreal gets hooked, Ezreal will die, and now that you've lost him, they can just move into the base, they got a wave, they've got Baron, Soup has to fall back. There's not much they can do here, Dean. All SHS has got to do is push for the end and complete the reverse sweep.
Really, really close. But SHS has been able to find it. Snake and Destroy has to do something. Yodo's going to try. The damage.
Yep, they're not going to be able to do much more. SHS, one more hit, one more tower, and only the Nexus remaining. And poor old Soup, who can warm our hearts, but not anybody else's. Believe Payton Grizzlies falling, and SHS move on to the finals.
And honestly, SHS, after the first game, they really corrected a lot of their mistakes. The laning in the mid lane was really good for Akali. That stayed consistent through most of the series, no matter what the circumstance. But the big change was just that they were able to lean their whole team into big areas where they wanted to make plays happen, right? There was very rarely situations that were left on the board for their opposition to take. Like, how many times did you see Payton try to make an individual play happen, try to make a dive happen, something like that, when they just don't have the support of the rest of their team to respond? When SHS does, and then they are able to lean into that side of the map and kind of snowball it into multiple objectives. You take a tower, you take something else, you get all this gold back, and just big fights that SHS was able to win. Got them to knock in the series, got them to reverse sweep.
Congrats to both of these teams. Big shout out to y'all for watching as well. Thank you, of course, to Vin and Daze for being our production team for the day. Dean, appreciate you coming on as well, being beside me for a brand new game. Now, with that, though, we'll be back tomorrow with some more Valorant action right here at 5 EST. But until then, I've been Ravish, the internet. Y'all have a good night. Peace.